Everything that's going on at the Sawmill Theaters and
talking
ever
over the
so much
intro.
more. With their microphones still turned off, Tina, Craig, and Andy with us in the studio. And I don't know, we're feeling kind of adventurous, so what the heck, let's turn the microphones on. How the heck you all doing this morning?
Great.
Peachy?
Keen.
Keen. And?
I'd just like to say for the record that Mr. America loves Nicole.
Hi, Nicole.
Okay. Film at 11. Not really
And
sure.
we love her too.
Okay,
Yes.
nice.
Yeah.
And we love coming to you every Friday here and talking about what's going on at the Sawmill Theaters, and we got a bunch to talk about this morning, as a matter of fact. And speaking of that, now, Craig, one of the things, this past year, I don't need to tell you, it's been kind of a tough one for a lot of different businesses, and certainly with the COVID thing for the theaters, not only here in Payson, but just in general. But it sounds like things are starting to kind of get back to whatever normal is.
Yeah, it goes back and forth a little bit. We've had some ups and downs here.
Right.
At the start of the summer, things were really starting to pick up, and then, the crud kind of kicked in again, and,
Right.
and things dropped off a bit. But they seem to be going in the right direction again. We had Labor Day weekend was a great one for movies.
Really?
Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings set some records. Close to $90 million for the 4 days.
Whoa.
90 million in 4 days.
4 days, yeah. Which,
I'm in the wrong business.
by Disney standards, I guess that's a little bit low.
Really?
I know that's crazy, but yeah, 90 million is. But everyone was really pretty happy about it with current
The
conditions.
trailer on
Was
that
that worldwide?
No, that's just in the U.S.
Holy
It's just
shit.
US.
Holy
Yeah,
moly.
that's the other one, they have not released this in China yet. So
Oh my word! And
That should do quite well there.
I'm just guessing you haven't seen it yet, but
I've seen the trailer.
it's a Chinese-themed movie, and I expect it to do very well over there.
They've done some of that really beautiful slow motion stuff in some of the fight scenes that all looks pretty intriguing. But one of the things, and you mentioned last week, Craig, that there's a lot of beauty shots in this, but also an interesting mix of working in humor into it too.
it's got a lot of comedy in it. Really funny movie, and people throw that visually stunning around quite a bit, but this is really a movie that does apply. It's a beautiful film. It's funny. It's full of action. Literally, there's maybe 10 minutes through the whole film where it slows down a little bit, and it's just for a few minutes. Then you're right back into action shots again, and entertaining film.
Gotta love action shots.
And today it's opening in
Oh, yeah, yeah.
3D.
Yeah,
Man, I
the
can't
415.
wait for that.
The
Yeah.
415 showing is now in 3D.
When it comes to something like that,
Yeah.
if you got that much beauty going on with special effects and everything, then you got to see it in 3D.
Well, I was telling Tina earlier, they can do 3D two ways. They can actually film it just with 2D cameras and they add the 3D after. It looks okay. But if they actually film it with these big IMAX 3D cameras, that's when it really pops. And even if you're watching the 2D version, you can see parts of it where you can see it's 3D.
And that's the kind of camera technology that was used in Avatar, was it not?
Oh, you know what? I am not sure.
'Cause I
Avatar
thought-
was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I mean, these are
Yeah.
True.
they've improved. Actually, I'm sure these cameras are quite a bit better than the ones they use for
Wow.
Avatar.
That was the first time going way back to 3D movies a million years ago. But Avatar was the first one that I thought really just popped. I thought that was pretty amazing, and if they can improve on that, then hot dog, gotta go see that.
Oh yeah, no, it's I'm looking forward to it.
So the 4 o'clock showing today's in 3D?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
every
Well, no,
every day at 4 o'clock?
yeah, every day now.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's at 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 7 o'clock. The 4 o'clock will be in 3D.
Okay. Wow. So I gotta be there at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
That sounds interesting.
Me too.
And so,
And there's Randy. There's one extended actually scene in here. It's a terrific movie. I liked it a whole bunch.
that's interesting because you don't like anything.
I like everything.
Oh, okay.
I'm a cream.
He's a
cream puff.
squish, I'm always like, Andy, 5.5 stars? What the fluff, man, really?
He's got plenty of saw blades to pass out.
Yeah, there's a fight scene on a bus in San Francisco that is as good as anything that Jackie Chan or Jason Statham ever did. I mean, it's really, really well done.
Huh.
And to make it even more appealing, there's especially in 3D. And I want to go back and see this in 3D just for this scene. There's a fight between two dragons
Wow.
Yeah, and you hardly ever get to see two dragons fighting.
You know, I can't remember the last time. I think it was when I got together with my in-laws, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that is just spectacular.
Are you a dragon?
They're
Parts of me are.
they're flying and spouting and biting and clawing and just tumbling, and it's just wonderful stuff. I can't imagine how good that is in 3D.
Wow, that sounds really intriguing.
Excellent.
Yeah, no, I don't know if you saw the main actor that plays Shang-Chi. He threw out the opening pitch for a Giants game the other day.
No kidding.
Yeah, the pitch was okay, but
Yeah.
as soon as he threw it out, he went into a backflip and
Whoa!
landed it perfect right on the pitcher's mound.
Oh, God, I love it. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So this guy, he's the martial arts scenes are really impressive, and this guy is obviously has some skills.
It's the real deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. That sounds really intriguing to me. That's the sound of a movie that I definitely want to go see, especially in the theater. Because you won't get, if you wait and watch it at home in a few months, it isn't going to work for you.
We've talked about this a lot, big screen movies and TV movies, and this is definitely for movie theaters.
Right.
You're just going to miss so much, and there's a lot going on. Like I said, it's just a beautiful film with all sorts of cool stuff. And
Well, you're talking about, was it $90 million over the course of this last weekend?
yeah,
Now,
That's in North America.
in North America.
and about, $5 million of that was right here in Payson.
Yeah. No, actually, well, our big one was Pleasant Valley War.
Oh, yeah.
That's gone now.
Right.
We just did that one for a week.
Yeah.
And I know I'm going to have people still wanting to see it. So I think on September 20, I'm not locked into this yet, but pretty close to it. September 25th, 2 weeks from tomorrow,
Right?
10 a.m., we're going to do another showing of it. So we'll do one of those Saturday morning shows,
But only at 10
o'clock. 10 a.m.,
I
yeah.
missed that one too. I'm emceeing the Old Time Fiddlers contest all that weekend. Well, anyway, we'll get it figured out eventually.
We're going to see how it goes.
Maybe a
and,
special midnight showing
yeah.
sometimes.
I might have to do a couple more. We'll
Right.
see. I don't want anyone to miss this that wants to see it. And there's
Well, when you got local folks that are involved in it, and I've just
Yeah.
seen pictures from it. That group has posted up a lot of stuff on Facebook, and I have to say, visually it looks like they did a great job.
everyone really liked it, and the local interest here.
Yeah.
It was a crazy feud. I mean, if people talk to Hatfields and McCoys, this thing was.
This was much worse. It was
Oh,
the
yeah.
most violent in the country's
Yes.
history. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, there was just, vendettas.
right.
Big time. I saw the opening, and it was really interesting to have all the actors and, the people up front answering questions, and, there they were, and you got to see who played whom.
That's neat.
It was good. It was
Now, did
cool.
they have the deal to the last man, where the last shooting happened down in the valley,
Yep.
and you had
Sure enough.
the relay
Yes.
horses coming back?
Yes.
Because to me, that's one of the most remarkable stories, and the fact that he got away with it, and
Yeah.
no one even knew it until he admitted it, like on his deathbed or something.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
And Tewksbury.
that. Yeah.
The idea that he could actually make it down there and make it back within an impossible amount of time,
Yeah.
but he did it.
Right.
Yeah, something,
Yeah.
I remember the exact number, but something like 250 miles
Right.
in 30 hours.
Right.
That is some
And he
horse
had
riding
hor-
there.
and he had horses stationed so that he could switch horses, and
There were some
Keep on
Pony
going.
Express riders that would have
Oh,
been
yeah.
proud to have
Oh,
been
yeah.
able to accomplish
Oh,
that,
yeah.
I'm sure.
it was really interesting.
Murder Express.
That's right. It was a killer ride.
Yeah.
We could go
My
on.
goodness, and I have to say that Ed Tewksbury is the greatest murderer in history for Gila County.
Let's.
I'm going to go on the record with that.
I doubt anyone's going to want to try and
And are
debate that.
we're known for murderers? Are we infamous for murderers?
No,
Well, we could be.
well, we should be.
I agree.
I mean, the Lincoln County War is just a mere fracas compared to the Pleasant Valley
Yeah,
War.
really.
Speaking of fracas,
Fracas.
I've never even heard it pronounced that way. But we need to say good morning.
That's not very nice.
I never told anyone I was nice.
Hey.
We need to say good morning to Jolynn, Michael, Mike, another Michael, Leanne, and Timothy and Dory, all watching us on Facebook Live this morning. Thanks for joining us.
And
Look for
all-
KRIM FM on Facebook.
Also, for the record, Mr. Wonderful loves Leanne.
Yes, we do love Leanne.
Mr. Wonderful. And who was the
and
first one?
Mrs. Wonderful loves us.
And the first one was Captain America or
No,
something?
Mr. America.
Mr. America.
Okay, he hasn't gotten a promotion yet.
Yeah,
All right.
really.
Well, anyway. So we have...
And getting back to 10 Rings, because after all, this is a movie show.
right.
There's the acting is actually quite good as well. Michelle Yeoh
she's great.
is in this movie, and I'm sure that you will remember her from the spectacularly successful Crouching
Lion, something dragon.
something.
Yeah.
Flying-
Oh, that
Butt
was
dragon?
so amazing.
Crouching
Crouching-
Tiger.
Crouching Tiger.
Hidden Dragon.
There we go. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not Butt Dragon.
So good. I mean, absolutely
It's a matter with you.
lyrical, slow-mo, crazy moves.
Right.
Nothing like that had ever been done before.
Wow. Very
It
interesting.
was really extraordinary.
And I keep refreshing.
Michelle Yeoh is really a terrific actress.
And it's like this the story of the Ten Rings. So what's the name of the movie again? I keep wanting to say Feng Shui.
Shang-Chi.
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 It's another one of those two syllable
Yes.
things.
The
But
Legend of the Ten Rings.
and it looks very interesting. By the way, everybody knows Tim Greer, right?
Yes.
Tim Greer, by the way, is showing an exceptional amount of good taste this morning, as he has just chimed in on KRIM's Facebook page saying, the movie guys are exceptionally good this morning.
Oh, splendid. Thank you, Timothy.
We like-
Thank you, we will pay you later.
We will ask us. I'm going to say there had to be some other motivation behind that.
I might be able to get you a free small popcorn if you see a scary movie today.
That's right. And we won't tell you about some of the other possibilities. By the way, also, good morning to Carla and Travis that are watching, either Carla or Travis. One of them is watching anyway on Facebook this morning.
Well,
All right.
howdy to both of you.
So now we've talked about this one, which sounds like a movie that everybody needs to go see, but wait, there's more.
There's more.
Plenty of movies. What else is going on today?
Well, we also have it opened up last week. Respect.
Respect,
This is kind of an autobiography of Aretha Franklin.
right?
How
Yeah.
she came up through the ranks and became the popular singer that we know.
And she's still alive, isn't she?
No, no.
Did she pass away?
She
Yes.
passed away.
I didn't realize that.
Yep.
No.
It's too bad because I mean, oftentimes we seem like we wait until after someone passes away to do something like that. And she had, I mean, golly, 4 decades, something like that at least.
Yeah, and the cool thing was, I got to see Respect, and then I got to see the Blues Brothers, in which she has a wonderful scene in the diner.
Right,
Oh, and she sings Respect.
right.
It was so cool. Yeah.
That would be it. So that's playing today at what times?
4 o'clock and 7 o'clock,
And that'll be going for at least another week.
at least through Thursday. Yes,
All right,
Or
very
You
good.
until
need to
Thursday.
see it. The music is to die for.
Really?
Right.
And Jennifer Hudson, Arizona's own
Yes.
Jennifer Hudson,
Yes.
plays the lead role. She plays Aretha Franklin.
Mhm.
And Jennifer Hudson
It's not hard to look at.
well, in her own right,
Yeah.
she is a spectacularly good singer.
Yes.
Very true.
So,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, well cast in this part.
Perfectly
Nice.
cast. Yeah.
And the classic Aretha Franklin song "Respect,"
Right?
which is, I mean, arguably the greatest song ever written, was written by Otis Redding.
Otis Redding.
Wow.
I understand he was just sitting down by a dock at the bay, wasn't he?
Well,
Yeah,
that's when he
too.
wrote it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, good morning to Nicole from Black and Tan.
Oh, hi, Nicole.
And anybody else that we need to pass along?
No, I think I'm good for the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, let's see here. Patricia and Dar are watching as well. So thanks for joining us.
There
on
was a
Facebook
really
Live.
cool part of the movie which I knew about because I watched a documentary on, I think, Netflix. It's where Aretha went down to a place called Muscle Shoals in Alabama. And this was a
That's a
studio.
recording place, right?
Yes, this was like a little bitty recording place. All these people ended up there, and she comes down, and she was kind of on the verge. You know, she hadn't really gotten hits. She hadn't broken out into her style. She'd been singing kind of standards and everything.
Mhm.
But I love this because she's there, and there are all these white guys who are the band, and she's looking at them like, you know, I mean, what? And then they start to play and they start to back her up, and she looks at them and she said, I want these boys, they've got soul.
I love it.
And there's to see the documentary, again, either Netflix or Prime, but look up Muscle Shoals.
Huh.
It's an excellent background to this.
Very,
Really good.
very interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. Now, and this movie just started last week.
That was last week. Yeah.
And Aretha Franklin won 18 Grammys.
Yes.
Wow.
Imagine that.
She
Yeah.
kind of has a little bit of a pattern forming there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one thing I thought was worth noting in the soundtrack for the film. Jennifer Hudson does all these songs, and two of them were recorded or were written by Carole King.
Oh wow, there's a. I mean,
And Carole King is known for these wonderful ballads.
well, the Tapestry album is just chock full of them.
Oh,
yeah. But two of these Aretha Franklin hits were written by her.
Very
Amazing.
Yeah.
Gotta love it. Now, and has that been doing pretty good overall in the
It's
theaters?
done all right.
Yeah, but I mean, you think they're gonna pay for themselves and maybe make a profit?
Maybe.
Yeah, jury's still out on that.
Yeah, we're not sure yet.
Cool.
It's not-
Have you seen this movie yourself? Andy?
I have not. I've not been able to. We have too many movies came out at the same
What
time.
movie did you see last week?
Oh, Legend of the Ten Rings.
Oh, okay. And how many saw blades did you throw at that?
4.
4. Wow. So you weren't too grumpy then.
No, it was very, very entertaining. It was kind of towards the top of the Marvel movies, and actually I liked it considerably better than Black Widow.
Well, when you say towards the top of Marvel, I mean they turned out some pretty good stuff.
They
I mean, there's my understatement of the year. But,
yeah.
I mean,
just huge movies.
Wow, very interesting. All right, so what else we got planned?
Well, starting today. Today, yeah, we've got a horror film.
Ooh,
This one looks super creepy. Malignant.
Malignant.
This is the guy that did Insidious and Sinister. Have you seen them? They're just super creepy.
So
They're really
the other movies that he's done are Insidious and
Insidious, Sinister, and the first Conjuring.
oh, the first Conjuring
Yes,
too.
yeah,
And now
yeah.
he's doing Malignant.
Malignant. That's
Um,
another kind of an evil spirit haunting this girl, and these things it's rated R. Rated R. These things are rated R. Usually not. It's not like they're terribly bloody or anything. They're not thrasher films, but they're just really creepy.
Yeah.
This one is so creepy. We will give you a free small popcorn if you have the courage to come see it.
Ooh.
Seriously?
They're feeding
They're
people.
bribing people.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool.
I've got the courage to go see it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, can we go see it right now?
Yeah. You had me at popcorn.
Yeah, that's right.
That was at 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 7 o'clock.
Well, one thing I learned a long time ago, I'm not personally not a big fan of horror movies because I've just seen enough horror myself, but I learned a long time ago that if you're out on a date, a horror movie is a good movie to go to because you get a lot of instant, all of a sudden hugs and stuff.
Yeah.
That's, or whatever you want to call
Well,
it.
this one's a definite for that.
Oh, really?
It looks really scary.
Yep. Starring.
See if my wife's available for that this evening. Yeah.
Starring the impeccable Mckenna Grace.
Oh, and we know her from.
Earlier this year, you heard her voice in Spirit Untamed,
Oh.
an animated film about girls and horses.
Okay.
But Mckenna Grace is a hardworking young actress. She's, I think, 15 or 16 right now, in this point in her career. But she's done some interesting stuff. A couple of years ago, 3 years ago, I guess, or 4 years ago, Captain Marvel, 3 or 4 years ago, just a blistering success. And she was, of course, was a little younger then, and she played in a sequence, she played the young woman who became Captain Marvel. She played her as a teenager. So she's done a lot of stuff, and she works hard. But she's the only person that's famous in this movie. Although Ingrid Basu should be famous.
Oh, so you got a little thing for Ingrid, do you?
Nah, not really. But she's
You're like bait and switch.
yeah.
What the heck, man? Really?
No, so what intrigued you about her? Just the quality of her acting, or what?
She's well. First of all, we know her most recently from The Nun, made by this same production. That was what, 2 years ago. I mean, fairly recently.
Yeah, the last 4 or 5 years anyway.
Yeah, and that one was made with like $20 million and ended up bringing in $365 million at the worldwide box office.
Good
So
ROI,
people,
yeah.
people frequently buttonhole me at the at the grocery store and say, why in the world do they make these horrible movies that just a bunch of people getting stabbed and stuff?
Because people pay money to go see
People
it.
pay money to go see them, and a lot of people pay a lot of money to go see them. And the guy who directed this is an Australian dude named James Wan, actually born in Malaysia. Is a Chinese and Arawak ancestry.
That's the guy that does all these creepy horror films.
Chinese in airport? Really?
That is an interesting mix.
He founded a company, and you will just love this. His production company is called Atomic Monster Production.
Atomic Monster.
Yep. And they've made they made The Nun.
Right.
They made the Conjuring series. He actually his first movie that he ever made was Saw, which is
I very vaguely remember
just just an awful thing about a guy that cuts people up with saws. I mean, Jiminy Christmas.
Yeah, these I always tie these into roller coasters.
Right.
Yeah, it's the same type of thing. People go on a roller coaster, be kind of scared. And it's the same thing with a horror film.
My daughter is that way. She loves to go and just have the bejeebers scared out of her at a horror movie. And she's into that. I've been trying to tell her, hey, go with me to a couple of disasters. But she anyway. Blah blah blah.
So,
Very interesting.
Yep. But James Wan is such a talented person that even though he's making just major bucks, his personal worth is like $70 million,
Wow.
which is, even for Craig, is a lot of money.
Yeah. By the way, I'd like to talk to you about a loan.
Unsecured.
Yeah, of course.
I got $7.
You can trust me.
That's right.
James Wan has directed a couple of movies I think that you may have heard of. Aquaman.
Oh, there you go.
Ah.
He's
Not
on it.
exactly a $20 million horror flick,
Right.
just a huge, spectacular movie. And Furious 7,
Oh wow.
one of the never-ending parade of Fast and Furious movies. Now, this guy is known for making low-budget, scary but very successful horror films, and yet he's directed 2 movies that scored over $1 billion.
Wow.
So this guy is no lightweight.
Hey, just got to interject real quick and say good morning to Brian, Patricia, Lori, Patty, Dar, Kin, Margaret. Looks like Harity, Heather, and John all joining us on Facebook Live this morning. Thanks.
Are we getting to be more popular?
Just when you thought we couldn't be less. It's nice people drop by their Facebook page and see, man, no wonder those guys are on the radio. Look at them.
You're supposed to pump up the talent,
Oh, I'm sorry.
not deflate the talent.
I didn't know which way the pressure went. I'm sorry.
Craig just left.
Yeah, he's done. Yeah. Anyway,
Back to James Wan, he also wrote and produced this movie, but guess who his co-writer was? Ingrid Basu.
oh, we come back to Ingrid Basu again.
Ingrid Basu is Romanian of German extraction, but
Wow.
born in Romania. She's done a ton of work in Europe, and some of it has been very highfalutin, what you would think of as being artistic movies. I mean, very, very highbrow kind of intellectual stuff. But she also had, for several years, she had a daytime TV show in Romania, 2 hours a day, and she was spectacularly successful. So here she's a writer, she's an actress, she's a TV personality, kind of like Carrie Lake, I guess.
Right.
And she's also married to the director, James Wan.
Wow. Okay.
But
What a tangled web we weave.
Yeah, I wanted to tell about her background so that I wouldn't want you to think that she got this part in the movie just because she was married to the director.
That all makes sense now.
Yeah.
No, but it's interesting, and man, Romania. I did a year-long project there, and I fell in love with Romania. That's a very interesting country.
Did you watch any Romanian TV there and see
a little bit?
pretty girl announcers?
There was lots of that. There's a lot. I'd say the incidence rate of attractive women is significant in Romania. And if I speak anymore, I'll just get myself in trouble. So
What do you know? Romania and Hollywood. Who'd have guessed?
I'd take Romania over Hollywood any day of the week, but that's just me. And it's good food too. Also, by the way, good morning to Heather, John, Felicia, and Amanda joining us on Facebook Live. Now we're about out of time here, but we're going to continue on the radio, that is. But on Facebook, we're going to continue talking, and we're going to be talking about biographies, right? That was the plan.
Yes.
Okay.
That is what we're
Yes.
going to do.
Biographies.
Yeah, biographies.
And so be thinking about that.
Filmographies.
And we've got, what'd you say?
Filmographies.
Yeah.
Filmographies.
Right.
As opposed to a flick. Okay, I got you.
Very good.
All right, filmographies it is. And so we're going to keep on doing that here on Facebook Live, so join us there if you're not there now. In the meantime, here on the radio, I'm going to get you back to more of your favorite music. Have some tunes coming up from John Fogerty, Steve Miller Band, Mark Knopfler, Phil Collins, and a whole bunch more. But right now, a look at Rim Country weather.
You know what we never hear on the radio much anymore is Tom Lear.
Oh,
You know?
I know all the words to all the songs.
Yeah. Tina and I were
I
going
had
around singing
a misspent childhood.
Poisoning Pigeons in the Dark.
Yeah.
the other
Why am
day.
I not?
Just
I'm
having a
not.
Oh,
wonderful
he
Nothing
was
is
a
coming to
You're too young.
mathematician at
You're too young.
MIT
I like hearing the fact I'm too young. I
who
haven't heard that in a
wrote
long time.
satirical songs. And I mean,
Name a couple.
Nikolai Ivanovich Lobacheski is his name.
You don't remember that one?
From him, one of my favorite lines, and I used to sing this to my kids at the high school. Plagiarize, let no one else's work evade your eyes. Remember why the good Lord made your eyes. So don't shade your eyes, but plagiarize, 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 but be sure and always call it a research.
That's Tom Lear.
That's Tom Lear.
You're-
And I remember this
I've led
from,
a sheltered life.
age, 9. My father
Right.
had the old
78.
78 records.
Wow.
Oh, the man was brilliant.
Yeah.
So when he was kicking this stuff out, people were still listening to 78 RPM records?
Yes.
I
That was,
was.
yeah, no, that was high tech.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was before hi-fi.
High five. Well, no, we had high five.
Did you?
Yeah, we had high five.
Okay.
Right.
We will all
I remember when I first started in radio, we were actually
When the air-
spinning stacks of wax.
When the air becomes Uranus, we will all go simultaneous. We will all go together when we go. Every Hottentot and every Eskimo.
Bartender, I'll have what they're having. Anyway, I've led a sheltered life. I don't remember ever hearing this person's name.
Be
or
prepared. That's the Boy Scouts marching song. Be prepared as through life you march along. Be prepared to hold your liquor pretty well. Don't write naughty words on walls if you can't spell.
Yeah, that's good advice. Well, so now,
Yeah.
filmographies.
Oh.
If you were going to talk
Yeah.
about a favorite
Mm.
filmography, what's the first one that comes to mind, Andy?
Well, I think the favorite for Tina is the recent and arguably great. I mean, not arguably great. Certainly was great. Biography of Freddie Mercury.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I saw
yeah.
that.
Yeah. The Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, that was actually very
It
entertaining.
was amazing. Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
But-
yeah.
Oh, Craig's back, quick.
But, right. But there.
Did you know Malik had a twin brother?
I did not.
I just found that out.
Oh, my
Did
word.
you know that on his own, or?
Yeah.
Oh, we talked about you a lot while you were
But
running.
But there's some other ones. I mean, I've seen a lot of these. Well, most of them. There's one called Molly's Game with Jessica
Ooh,
Chastain.
is that a real story?
It's a real story, and
That's a terrific movie.
oh my gosh! I mean, that's on either Netflix or Prime. I can never remember which.
You'd
but
like it. It's
really
about gambling.
Idris Elba. She ran high stakes poker games and then got snagged by the FBI. And the story is really great because she was so in integrity that she refused to take the easy way out. But Jessica Chastain is fantastic.
Oh, very interesting.
So great movie. Okay, and then Richard Jewell by Clint Eastwood.
Oh, man.
That's a biopic, right?
Right.
Yeah, which I saw a couple times.
Was Saving Private Ryan, was that a true story?
No.
No,
That was just fictional.
That was-
yeah.
They made that up.
right,
Actually, World War II is fiction, thank goodness. I
right.
hate to think that was real, all that
Yeah.
horrible
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And then Shadowlands,
What?
which was the true story of C.S. Lewis and his wife, whom he married, and then she got cancer. And that has the great Deborah Winger in it, and I think it was Anthony Hopkins, I think. playing C.S. Lewis. I'm
Never
not
saw it.
sure. Really, find it and see it. It's
C.S. Lewis,
very
that's a pretty interesting story right there.
Inspiring movie, inspiring. And then Catch Me If You Can.
Oh, yeah, that was
Yeah,
true. That's a true story.
Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hanks.
Yep.
True
And
story.
that's amazing that that's a true story.
He
I mean,
actually
talk about a guy
pulled
that's
that
just
off.
full of it. I mean,
Yeah, I know. Well, it's like fake it if you make it until you make it.
Yeah.
He was amazing, right?
And what a tremendously good movie as well.
Oh,
But I mean, talk about
yeah.
faking it. Faking being a jet pilot. I
And
mean,
a doctor?
yeah, I mean, you got to do a little research
And
to
who
pull that
played,
one
who
off.
played his
Yeah.
dad?
I don't know.
Yes, you do.
Some older guy.
I don't know.
No.
So, Craig, when we talk about filmographies, if you were going to pick or biopic,
Yeah.
what's the one at the top of your list?
Star Wars.
The troubled
I keep telling you,
story.
Obi-Wan Kenobi wasn't real.
He lives.
Troubled tale of Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Unhappy childhood and unhappy adulthood.
Yeah.
But at the core, a decent man.
A decent man.
And remember, always let the Wookiee win.
Did we get to The Doors?
Oh, I
Watch that
don't
one?
know,
Yeah.
but I.
Ooh, Doors, yeah, Val Kilmer.
Really, Val Kilmer was Jim Morrison. And I saw Jim Morrison in concert. I am that old. And he channeled Jim Morrison.
Wow.
Amazing. Yeah.
That would be interesting, because that was,
Yeah.
and that was in a pretty interesting point in time in American history,
Yeah.
and a lot of the stuff that was going on, people were kind of testing the outer limits, so to speak.
You know what was interesting about Morrison, though? He was very literate. He studied all the great classic poets. I mean, I'm wearing my, Read More Shakespeare shirt this morning. He was a big fan of William Blake. And if you read the poetry of William Blake, he really built a lot of his songs on these amazing, fantasies that Blake created. Really good.
Blake was a bit of a mystic.
Totally, yeah,
Very interesting.
yeah.
Some other things going on there.
Definitely, yeah.
And that was Jim Morrison. Well,
Yeah.
the Doors.
Yeah.
Right.
To
The
other,
Doors of Perception
Yeah,
from William
yeah,
Blake.
yeah.
Right.
Other realities and things. Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
So-
but I mean, at the top of your list, Tina?
Oh, goodness. I don't know. Maybe Shadowlands, because it made me just weep like a bathtub overflowing.
That's a
But
good
also,
visual.
I think Molly's Game. I've seen that a couple of times. That's the one with Jessica Chastain. It's a really inspiring movie because, here's someone who could have taken the easy way out and didn't. So,
I know that they made a film version of
but then Richard Jewell.
the book Through Gates of Splendor.
Oh.
And I don't remember what it was now, but that is one of the most amazing stories of
Mhm.
missionaries going into a place and they end up getting killed, but yet at the same time,
tip of the spear, or
Something like
end of
that.
the spear.
yeah. My mentor in my disaster work was college buddies with Elliot, and so that was a big deal, and we were back visiting another longtime friend of his, and we were staying in their guest room, and Larry was looking at their bookshelf and found the book Through Gates of Splendor and told me the story of what happened. And about that time, the person who owned the home came in, and we talked for like a couple of hours on that one. He ended up giving me the book, and it's like an old first run of, because that story goes back to a long ways. But fascinating stuff as far as true stories. And sometimes some of these true stories are, every bit as good as some of the weird stuff that are thought up by these Hollywood folks.
Well, that's the thing on your autobiographies too. A biography or an autobiography is a little different there too. But
Right.
because Hollywood does take artistic license on some of these things.
But autobiography, sometimes the person takes
Yeah, I was
artistic
gonna say,
license too.
that's true. That too.
Right. But there's also Enemy at the Gates, which is a great movie about one of the sniper it was World War II, I believe.
Yeah, yes, that's the one that
Jude Law.
we're trying to pretend didn't happen.
Oh my word! That's a great true story about this guy who was, just this incredible sniper who the Germans just came after him big time because he took out so many of their people. And I've seen that probably 10 times. It's really good.
That's
Yeah.
an amazing profession.
How about The Last King of Scotland?
Oh, man.
The Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker and James McElroy. Yes.
Don't remember who else was in it.
Yes. About Idi Amin.
Right.
Oh my gosh. I mean,
They talk about a wonderful movie about a horrible guy.
yeah. That's a
And
great movie.
Forrest Whitaker was just amazing.
Channeled Idi
Another
Right.
true story that I think they took some creative license to, but I still is one of my favorite movies of all time is Braveheart.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great
William
movie.
Wallace, right?
Yeah, William
Yeah,
Wallace.
they did take some
Yeah.
liberties with that. But there's a great scene though, which is unfortunately fictional, where he rides his horse into this dude's bedroom,
Yes.
and guy's in the sack, and he looks up, and Braveheart smites him with a mason chain, which is
Yes. Oh,
a
which is
big
horrible
spiky
weapon.
ball
Oh,
on the
my
end
God. Yeah.
end of a length of chain with a handle on it,
Yeah.
and just mashes the guy's noggin to pulp.
Yes. Yes.
That's great filmmaking, but didn't happen in real life.
Okay, another great one, Hotel Rwanda.
Ooh,
That's
yeah,
a true story.
Yeah.
That's a true story with Don Cheadle.
Yeah, go back to Mel Gibson, Passion of the Christ.
Oh, Passion.
You know, that should be
The
at the top
greatest
of everyone's
biopic
list,
of all,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
And they did, you know, I mean, I know that Gibson has, you know, we've all had our weird moments and stuff like that we wish we could have a do-over perhaps. But, I mean, he's done a lot of great work in movies as an actor, but as far as directing a movie, Passion of the Christ, wow. I mean, that when you start talking about the, you know, being whipped and you're seeing chunks of flesh flying, and actually in at least one of those, it's real chunks of flesh that
Jim
Caviezel.
Caviezel is.
He
I mean,
was
he actually,
horribly mangled
yeah,
during that
he
movie.
took some injuries on that
Yeah,
one.
big time.
But
He broke arms or legs.
the
or-
realism of the
Oh.
crucifixion and everything was, man, I just don't know how you could have made that any more real.
Yeah. No, I would say that would be my favorite, even
Yeah.
though I almost can't watch it anymore.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
And very successful as well.
Very. Yeah.
Another $1 billion or close to it movie, and it was financed almost entirely by Gibson himself, him personally.
He did
out
it.
of his
So it was a
personal,
Yeah.
his personal bank.
That was his baby, right?
Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
And something that isn't strictly a biopic, but is one that is very close to home for me, was the Jamaican movie The Harder They Come, which was made while I was
Is that Jimmy
living-
Cliff?
Yes, man, Jimmy Cliff. And you know, it was really not about a specific person, but about a type of person who lived and died by by violence in Jamaica. And it was it was in the early 70s, and it was such an amazing movie because up to that point, Jamaica had been portrayed, you know, as just a tropical paradise, no problems. And let me tell you, that really caught the underbelly of the gangs in Jamaica, and the real sadness and the hopelessness of the poverty and Jimmy Cliff was fantastic. So
Very interesting.
yes.
And you
But,
spent some time in Jamaica
I
yourself.
17 years. My family was there, and
Wow.
what's interesting about that movie is they do speak allegedly English, but it's so strong patois that they had to put subtitles with the movie because you couldn't understand anything they were saying. So
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I don't know if you would call it a dialect, but it is definitely
Yeah.
unusual. And I would assume, having spent that many years there, that you might agree that there's a darkness there that you can
Oh.
feel.
there's voodoo in Haiti is called obea
Yeah.
in Jamaica.
That's the exact analogy I was just going to. I've never been to Jamaica, but I've spent time in Haiti, and
We
there's a darkness there.
things there, man, that I don't want to go to the dark
It was
side.
a Serpent in the Rainbow.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
That was
excellent.
Was it Bill
Bill
Oh.
Paxton,
Paxton? Or,
Yeah.
Pullman.
or Pullman, I'm sorry.
Is it
Pullman.
Bill-
one of those P words.
Yeah.
That creepy thing with the zombie powder and
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
show that.
boy, there's a great line or a great scene in there where the Bill Pullman is in the office of the head of the Tonton Makou. And the Tonton Makou was the secret police under Papa Doc Duvalier.
Yeah.
And it means the boogeyman.
Yeah.
And in the office, on the walls, there are jar after jar after jar after jar after jar on shelves in the wall.
Mhm.
And Pullman says, "What's up with that?" Or
Yeah.
something to that effect.
Yeah.
And this guy looks at him and he says, "They are souls."
Yeah.
So he had sucked the souls out
Oh.
of people and stored them in these jars.
Yeah.
That is pretty darn creepy, if you ask me.
Yeah. Okay, another one, and this is also from my
Oh,
back,
that-
my checkered background. The movie The Descendants, which was made about Hawaii. It was with George Clooney, and it was a fictional version of real life stuff that happened. And the lead character, whom George Clooney played, was, the owner of a vast, old swath of land in Hawaii, which had not been developed, which had been ceded to this family by the king. And my cousins, the Morgans, who run Kualoa Ranch on Oahu, it was modeled after them. And George Clooney came to Hawaii and stayed with my cousin, John Morgan, to pick his brains. So, biopic, yeah, a sort of fictionalized version, but very, very interesting because Kualoa Ranch, and you can Google it, has been not developed. It's on the north shore of Hawaii. It's 5,000 acres of ranch land, half of it up and down because it's, mountainous. But they have really managed to keep it from being developed and
Wow.
parlayed it into a very successful destination venue. So
Hmm.
it's really interesting. But that's pretty much of a biopic of
Right.
my cousin. So,
Right.
yeah.
And
Then there's Rocket Man,
the Elton John
Oh,
story.
yeah, that was great.
And that was, I was a big,
Taron Egerton.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of Elton John's early years. And
Mhm.
once he started going down the Captain Fantastic road, that just didn't really fit with me. But I've always loved his music. And then after watching that
Mhm.
movie, you can kind of see what he was going through at different times and stuff, and it made a lot more sense.
Yeah, and I think Taron Egerton did a just smashing good
Agreed.
job
Yeah.
of in that. And he also did another biopic, Eddie the Eagle. And he did also a smashing job on that. It was earlier in his career, but his the focus of the movie was a determined young Englishman of little talent who wanted to be an Olympian, and he ended up being an Olympian in spite of not having very much talent. He chose down what do you call ski jumping,
Right?
because there was no ski jumping team in England, and he figured he had a pretty good chance of making the cut since there was nobody else doing it. But he had no idea what he was doing. It's incredibly dangerous, as you well know.
It's easy to take off. It's that darn landing thing.
Yeah, really.
And Egerton played this guy, this Eddie the Eagle, who really had nothing except courage and ambition going for him.
That's a good
And
combo.
and he was a decidedly ordinary fellow.
Mhm.
So
Go ahead.
I was just saying, with your kind of back to the music thing, Rami Malek with Queen.
Yeah.
What was the name of that one?
You were out.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
we were
Yeah,
used-
yeah.
okay.
Oh, yeah. That's
Yeah.
great.
You should have been here. It was a great.
I
Yeah.
saw that. I saw that 5 times. I mean,
Yeah.
I just
So
kept,
far.
kept yeah, so far. I
No, a
mean,
lot of
but
great
in
music.
in the theater, you had to see it.
Well, another one that is based on historical fact, yet some people will debate, because it's been done a few times, some people will debate how Hollywoodized it was and that type of thing, but still a movie that I've probably watched 6, 7 times, and when I see it come around on TV, I'll sit there and watch it again, is Tombstone.
Oh, which we just showed, right?
Right?
Oh, and you were there?
No, I wasn't. I was there. I was there in spirits.
What a great
It's
movie
such
that
a
was.
pain when I don't live here anymore.
You voted for it and they didn't show up?
Yeah.
Well, see, I was just making sure that other people had the benefit.
Right, exactly. No, that was a super,
Tombstone is just
so
it's a
great.
well-produced movie, and I have heard a little bit of debate on this point or that point, and
Yeah.
that's for scholars to debate. All I know is that you get the basic story, and I thought they did an exquisite job of putting it all
So, 2 more.
Okay.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. the story of Hunter S. Thompson, who was crazy, and he wrote the book, and then he's played by Johnny Depp. And that
Who is kind of crazy.
well, yeah, and perfectly cast.
Yeah.
So that was a really
I've not seen.
interesting movie. And then another Jamaican movie.
Sorry.
Oh, what a shock!
This is why I'm not a hometown movie guy. I'm just a stooge on this side of the table.
No, the Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas,
Yeah.
both the book and the movie
Yeah.
are really absolutely terrific.
Yeah,
And,
they really are. Yeah.
Bill Murray starred in a movie called Where the Buffalo Roams,
Yeah.
which is kind of a retelling of the parts of at least parts of the same story.
Yeah.
And Johnny Depp did another. All of Hunter S. Thompson's books are
Insane.
reportage. They're just they're him telling about what.
Reportage on LSD. I mean.
Yeah, well,
it was
that
pretty-
kind of spices it up.
Yeah, it was crazy.
But he made the Rum Diaries, which is
Yes.
another
Yeah.
Hunter S. Thompson book
Right.
with the incredible Amber Heard.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Who Johnny and she had a terrible marriage. and
Yeah, they
lots
did.
Of, lots of bad stuff on the outside, but
Lots
you know,
of
she-
lawsuits,
very, very-
screaming.
She may also be crazy.
Yeah, I think they're both like schizo, right? Okay, another Jamaican movie, Cool Runnings.
We're back to the
Yes,
Olympics
man.
again.
Yes, I mean that was a true story about the Jamaican bobsled team.
I do remember that.
Why would they have a bobsled team?
There's
in
no
a-
snow.
No
in
snow in
Jamaica.
Jamaica, man, but the mob anyway. It was a great movie.
There was snow in Jamaica about 3 or 4 million years ago.
There was.
Nah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I went into the last
No
ice
man, you're
age.
thinking ganja. you
Oh,
know?
yeah. Well,
that's
that's
not,
right, it was.
not the snow, man. The snow was different.
That's what it was. And then everyone got the munchies and it was terrible.
Yeah, that was starring John Candy as
Oh.
as the coach.
Yes.
And
Adorable
And
movie.
what a coach.
well, they kind of thought it would be fun to do, so they did it.
Yeah.
And they pulled it off.
Yeah.
And there is to this day a Jamaican bobsled team.
Yes, I know.
Gotta love it.
I'm not sure if they've ever medaled, but
Yeah.
they're there.
Yeah.
They get a great trip every 4 years.
Yeah, I know.
Interesting. So now, as far as we only got a couple minutes left here, as far as looking forward to what's coming up at the Sawmill
Okay.
Theaters, what are some of the things now?
Lots of good
next
stuff.
week. Oh, next week's the big one. Cry Macho.
Yes,
We've got a
Clint.
Clint Eastwood movie coming up.
Yes.
Get off my lawn.
Directing and starring.
And
in it.
starring. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it should be. It looks like an awesome.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
seen the trailer, commercials on TV on that.
Yeah.
Looks
Yeah,
interesting.
we got another one. Looks a little bit crazy. Cop Shop. This is I know that
Ooh.
they are not really marketing this thing well, but it's a Gerard Butler movie.
Yeah.
Where he's actually breaking into a jail to try to. He's an assassin trying to break in and kill this guy, and then there's another assassin coming after him, and it just looks like the whole thing takes place in a little police station.
Wow.
But yeah, looks kind of a thriller comedy type thing.
Yeah.
Those are both next
So there's
week.
some humorous killing in this. then.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, we voted also in the classic movie for Stagecoach. First Saturday of October, that classic movie. I mean, it's John Wayne,
Right.
Stagecoach, John Ford
Going way
directed.
back, yeah.
Holy moly! I mean, that's going to be awesome.
And back when John Ford was doing movies, I mean, they did a lot of stuff up around Monument Valley here
Right.
in Arizona. And, I
Right.
mean, Arizona was and is still
A
a
destination.
great place to
Right.
do movies. Unfortunately, we're not doing much to attract them these days, or
Yeah.
as much as other states.
Real quick too, a week from tomorrow, we've got our faith film,
Right.
Billy, the early years.
Oh, you actually
I've
got it?
Yes,
Is it Billy Graham?
Oh, right.
Billy Graham,
Billy
yes.
Graham. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
we were going to do this one last month. We had
Yeah.
it scheduled, and I was not able to get a hold of it. I've got it for this month though. So a week from tomorrow, Billy, the early years.
Wow, very
Yeah,
interesting.
I
You have it.
mean, what a man, and I want to see that.
And of course, you can always find out what's playing and when it's playing by just going online to sawmilltheaters.net, and correct, net. And you can see what's playing. And of course, it's always a good idea just to tune in here on Friday mornings for your hometown movie guys. And we appreciate you tuning in and spending our second half hour with us on Facebook Live.
I've seen
Meanwhile,
both Billy
I'm coming over here to
Graham
poke you.
and
What?
I've seen both Billy Graham and the Lizard King.